Hey everybody, it's Rick Jansen and Lee Jennings, and we are here in part 3 of our prospecting series for the fastest way to 150K. That is 150,000 in gross commission income, trying to help real estate agents build a successful business. Lee, welcome.
How's it going?
Good, man. Today we said we were going to talk about two of your favorites, which are for rent by owners and absentee owners. And
Yes.
folks, the reason we're talking about prospecting is if you can hit the easy button, you can buy leads, but if you learn how to fish, if you learn how to prospect, if you learn how to generate your own leads, you will never go out of business. And
Exactly.
Lee is one of the best examples of that I know of. And he's in a hot market with high churn, low active inventory for rent by owners, absentee owners. How do people call them? Why should they call them? Why is that your little honeypot?
So absentee owners in particular, what we're talking about is homeowners who own a property or property owners who own a property and do not live there. That is the only criteria. And so in my market, like I'm in Seattle, Metro Seattle, there's about 4 million people in the Puget Sound corridor, and a huge number of them own property but do not live in that property. And you can actually purchase or get a list pretty easily of people who are in that category. I purchased a list from a company called the Share Group, which is available to anyone. And I got a list of, I think it was like 54,000 absentee owners. And I've been going through those and calling those, and that has been an incredible lead source for me. And you can do that in any market all over the country. But as a rule, people who own property and do not live there, they are great candidates for listings because they are always thinking about what if I did sell? What if I did look at selling? Maybe I should sell at this point. The market's really hot, especially right now. Maybe this is an opportunity to take some of that profit and move it in a different direction. You never know what their backstory or situation is, and so it's a phenomenal lead type. For rent by owners are similar. It's just exactly what it says. It is so you can purchase those leads from like a Mojo or many services offer them. I think Vulcan 7 offers them as well. But that is just properties that are currently for rent. A lot of these property owners are trying to rent a unit out, and it might be even a unit in a multi-unit building, but they would consider possibly selling. They just do not know what the market would bear for the property at that point. And so it's a really, really easy call because you're essentially just calling them and saying, look, I know it's for rent right now, but would you consider selling if you got the right offer? And it's just it's a really easy, it's an easy transition. A lot of them appreciate the call because they maybe hadn't been thinking about it, but now if you can educate them and give them research and numbers on what it might sell for, they're open to having a conversation.
All right, so yeah, let's go through that. Hello,
Rick.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick. I am calling on this property here, 123 Main. I see here that it's for rent, and I was just my name is Lee Jennings. I'm with eXp Realty, and I was just curious, on that property, if I was able to bring you the right offer, would you consider possibly selling that property?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of looking to cash flow right now and have it in a pretty good spot. We just spent a lot of time and energy getting that place ready to rent.
Okay. Well, just to let you know, that is a really, really hot area right now. That part of town, a lot of interest there. What I was hoping to see, what I could do is I could just do a little bit of research for you on what it might sell for. I can email that over to you and then give you a follow-up in a couple of days and just see if it might make sense for you.
Well, I want the number that's $50,000 over Zillow's estimate.
Well, you might be surprised. I mean, the market is really, really hot right now. There's a lot of people looking for properties of that type. So I tell you what I'll do. I'll put together a little bit of research. I'll send it over to you. Certainly no obligation, but it might be worth just taking a look at it to see what the property could apprehend on the market. Fair enough?
Fair enough. And I love how, because you're so experienced, because you make so many calls. We talk about using a script. Lee is using a script that he's just internalized, personalized, and he pivots around it in the middle of a conversation, and he can jump into that anytime, even unannounced, like I just did to him right there.
Yep.
Because it's just part of who he is right now. It's his expertise. That's mastery.
Yep. that's what people say is you have to do something for 10,000 hours to master it. That's what Malcolm Gladwell says. And I think it's true. It's a pretty simple call. And that call and the absentee owner call are very, very simple. It's almost like a circle prospecting call with a little bit extra.
I have a listing right now that was an absentee owner, and they were renting it out. They've got company renting it that's renting, is like subleasing it, doing all this crazy stuff. And for like 6 weeks, they're like, no, we're not interested in selling. And I just kind of kept gently poking at it with text, gently poking at it with a phone call or an email, gently poking at it. And finally they broke down. And what was happening at home was husband and wife were having a conversation about selling.
Mm-hmm.
And one was more eager to sell than the other. One thought we could just hold on to it till November. And I first approached them, I think it was in like February. One was thinking, well, we can just hold on to it till November and sell then. And the other's like, let's just get rid of this headache.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so they were having this internal debate, and I didn't even know that was happening. But by gently being available, gently adding value, encouraging them on the price that they thought they could get, I finally broke it down and I said, look, I never do this, and I really never do, but I decided to go with a performance-based commission plan.
Mm-hmm.
I said, look, you want to hit X dollars, right? I think we should list it a little bit lower in order to get to X dollars. Right? Because I don't want to, X dollars is really overpricing it. Like if we hit that and go to market, we're going to hear crickets. Right. But I think I can get there if we price it at fair market value, and then I can drive it up in a bidding war.
Mm-hmm.
So if I sell it for my price, I'll give you, a 1% discount.
Right.
If I sell it for your price, I get full commission.
Right.
And I'm so confident in my approach, in my marketing, that I know I'll get full commission when I hit your price, because I will hit your price. But I'm going to ask you to have faith in me, in my marketing process, in pricing it reasonably.
Mm-hmm.
Take that faith in me, and I'll take the risk.
Right.
I'll take the risk, and I'll do the 1% discount, because if it doesn't sell, if my marketing fails, which I know it won't, I'll take the risk and I'll absorb that 1%.
Right.
But that's for having faith in me, but because you don't know me. Right. And then when I achieve your objective, then I get full commission. Do we have a deal? And that won them over.
Yep. There you go. There you go. Yeah. I mean, I think it's oftentimes they are, for rent by owners, they are in such a rental mode that they haven't even stopped in recent, past to consider what it may sell for, or what that would look like, or they've been seeing on the news that the market's really hot, but they're like, oh, that's just, that we're not really, in that mindset right now. And if you can actually show them real numbers, like I did one about a week ago where it was a lady who had bought a triplex like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And she was like, oh, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, her triplex here in Seattle has essentially gone from, I think she purchased it for $750,000. I think right now it's worth probably between 1.1 and 1.2 million. And she really didn't have an idea on that. She's been working on it, and she's been, doing maintenance on it. I think she's got maybe one vacant unit, but if I brought that to market right now, she would be shocked at what's out there. So they're just fantastic calls.
And I'll give you one of my most golden nuggets that I've ever received in the past 10 years of prospecting. And this was given to me by Andy. He's a 70-year-old owner here in Denver. And he educated me in a way that I'm going to now share freely, which is, when we started talking, he said, look, Rick, I own 12 properties. It's 25 units. I own them outright. Why would I ever sell? The capital gains on that would just kill me. I'd rather pass them along to my kids, have the step up in basis, and they can inherit something much greater. I have no need to sell. I have passive income coming in for days, right? On the face of it, you think, wow, okay. Now, granted, current administration could mess with the capital gains bump up and everything else in the states, and you have to watch that. You can't necessarily plan for that, right? Because every administration can mess with that. But here was his golden nugget. I had an insurmountable obstacle of I will not sell because I'm going to get hit for capital gains, right? And I have income and no pressing need. So two ways to go about that. One was, how's the management coming along? Who manages it for you, right? And he was managing it. He was running around 70 years old, managing all these properties, and he was starting to get tired. And his wife was like, "Hey, I'm over it." So one thought was, and our original thought was, let's sell all of these, roll them up into one multifamily unit.
Right.
You can pass on to your estate in a cleaner, neater way because they all live somewhere else.
Right.
Right. So you got to get creative, folks. So if all the heirs live out of state, they could hire one property manager to manage one building, or make it part of a property management company that just puts it on a rotation, and they've got 5 buildings in the area. And so we were starting to look at selling $6 million worth of properties to buy one $6 million building.
Right.
So that's one approach. Simplify his life. Find the pain point, which was management, upkeep, his property manager not performing, etc. So that was one approach, which could have turned into a $12 million deal, right, from someone who wasn't wanting to sell.
Right.
The second one was, he said, "Rick, here's what nobody ever asks me. Everybody calls and asks if I want to sell. No one asks if I want to buy more." This is obviously working for me. I have 25 units that I own outright. I am a successful investor. Why does nobody ask me if I want to buy more?
Yeah.
And so when you're on the phone with somebody that's absentee owner, ask them, like, "Hey, is this the only property you own, or do you have multiple rental units?"
Yeah.
Get that out there right away.
As a rule, everyone who I come across who like everyone who I call on, pretty much, I would say 80% of them have more than one. You know, I mean, it's kind of amazing, really.
Yeah. And then poke around the pain points, like how do you manage those, right? Do you have a property manager? Do you manage those yourself? Oh, really? Yourself? Is that a full-time job, or do you work at Google or have another business, right? Do you have a full-time salary? Like, do you ever get calls in the middle of the night to fix a furnace? Like, you know, the toilet's leaking on a Saturday when you're trying to go on a boat with your family, right? Like, find what the pain point is, and almost always it's going to be management or repair costs.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. And that's why every single absentee owner or for rent by owner really, you know, in the back of their subconscious mind, they're considering selling because they don't want the headaches anymore.
Right.
You know, I used to manage like 1,100 doors. I know exactly what it's like.
You do, absolutely. And you can come with that authority, right?
Oh yeah, no, I know property management better than most multi-unit owners because I was in it for so long, and I know exactly what the pain points are because I was dealing with it for years.
And folks, if you ever want to get on the phone and have some authority, first book a one-on-one call with Lee. He's always available. He can always make time for you. You know, text him, schedule a time to speak. And then when you prospect, you can say, "Look, I was just on the phone with someone who managed 1,100 units. He was telling me what it's like." Leverage Lee's authority. We will give you that gift, right? You can leverage Lee's authority. I was just on the phone, and that could be a month ago, right? You know, you could talk to him today, and a month from now, say, "Hey, I was just on the phone with a guy who manages 1,100 doors. I feel your pain." You don't have to have the pain. You don't have to know the pain, but you can still empathize by having just spoken with somebody who has that authority, right?
Right.
Or, you know, if you kind of work with us in the future, you can say, "Hey, my coach managed 1,100 properties," right? You can say, "My mentor, my business partner, Lee Jennings, my business partner, Lee, managed 1,100 doors. He knows what it's like." Right.
Well, it's so funny because I'm out there talking to a lot of agents right now who are looking at accumulating rentals. That's like their holy grail. That's what they want to do is get 50 doors that they own. And I think to myself, okay, so you are trying to accumulate 50 headaches so that you can have one gigantic migraine headache. And I'm like, and that brings me to, you know, where I inhabit now, which is EXP, which is incredible. And I'm like, why wait, you know, maybe instead of spending, you know, millions of dollars to acquire 50 properties, you should, you know, maybe you should join EXP and like build revenue share.
Well, Tim and Julie Harris, our business partner and national coaches, Tim and Julie own like 22 properties, 23 properties, something like that. And they talk about the sacrifice that's involved. And this again still goes to prospecting, folks, because you have to say, look, the sacrifice involved in saving up, and let's say you're buying a $300,000 house, right? But you have to save up $60,000 after taxes, after expenses, just to get the down payment for the investment property, right? So the pain and suffering involved in saving up $60,000, the sacrifice you make to your lifestyle, to your family, to everything else that's important to you, with no guarantee of a tomorrow.
Mhm.
Right? You think, hey, if I buy these 5 investment properties, I'll enjoy my family tomorrow. There's no guarantee, folks.
Right.
The biggest mistake you can make is not just putting the accelerator down, hitting it now, hitting it fast to enjoy your present, and to just really live in the moment and serve people at the highest possible level.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like recruiting. I mean, what I do, I talk to people oftentimes who have like maybe between anywhere from like 2 to 10 properties. That is like the major pain area. I mean, they're not getting a huge benefit, but they're also not having any fun because there's still clogged toilets, there's still problems, there's still mold, there's still all these things that are happening, and they're just not seeing the benefit. And it's like there might be a better way.
There might be. So, hey, we've gone over our 15 minutes. I just love learning from you and sharing with you. Part 4, we're going to record next. What are we going? What do people have to look forward to?
So I want to go over like we've essentially so far we've done for rent by owners, for sell by owners, expireds, absentees, and then circle prospecting. So I just want to drill down. I mean, on all those lead pillars, and then probably add referral partners and sphere. So
Awesome.
yeah,
I love talking about those. Those are 2 of my favorite topics.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, have a great day and talk to you soon.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Bye.